Hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I know the semester is flying by and we are over halfway done. So I wanted to go over a few things in this week's announcements, just so you have a good picture of what is left in the course and where we're at right now. So I'm going to start by giving an update on grades so you can check in and see how you're doing and talk about the remaining assignments that we have left so you know what to expect. I am going to go over some feedback from week 10 discussion over qualitative methods. For article critique number 2, I assigned those in perusal Sunday afternoon. So if you had not yet done the survey yet, you won't see yours, but for the majority of you, you should see your article critique 2 already in perusal for you there. And that is going to be due Sunday, April 9th. So that is coming up in a few weeks. So you can get started to work on that. It's the same exact format and expectations as article critique number 1 with your at least 10 annotations. I did put the checklist from chapter 4 about how to review qualitative research in the assignment. So you can take a look at your article and the sample is still there too. So you can be working on that. And then I will leave you with the checklist for the week. So let's get into the grades and remaining assignments. So if you look into iCollege in your grades, right now there is a total points possible of 60 points. So that includes the city training, the midterm, article critique number 1, and then the perusals that we have done so far. So that is perusals 1 through 10, or yes, or maybe 1 through 9, plus your introduction. So you will see that there. Of course, when it comes to the perusals, I'm taking your 12 highest scores. So you are able to drop your 3 lowest scores. So that's okay if you had to skip a week, but you can keep that in mind as well. So as far as the remaining assignments, we have 4 more perusals to go: perusal 11, 12, 13, and 14. So there's 4 more opportunities at 3 points each. So that's 12 possible points remaining. You have your article critique number 2, which is 10 points. Then you have your research proposal and presentation, which is 14 points together, 10 for the paper and 4 for the presentation. I'll talk about that today too. And then your final exam. So that is 10 points. So, oh, and this is the note about perusal. So there are 15 opportunities and 12 of them are graded. So you can check in iCollege and see how you're doing so far and email me if you have any questions. So you can, and the course is out of 100 points. So far there have been 60 points possible. And then there are 24, 36, 46 points left because some of them could be dropped. So you can kind of be strategic and calculate where you are, what you have to do. And please email me if you see any errors or anything that you want me to take another look at in iCollege, and any questions about the remaining assignments. So that is an update there about what is left. Now, for your research proposal, we have been doing our ungraded check-ins. Everyone's downloaded the template so far. So we have the final research paper is due April 17th. Now, you don't have to do another check-in if you don't want to, but if you do want me to take a look, you can either email me or send me another draft in iCollege, and I will give you some feedback there about how you're doing. So what is left to do for your research proposal paper is to finalize your design. I gave you feedback about this on your last check-in, but either your quantitative, qualitative, mixed methods, and you will go ahead and write out details about your data analysis section and make sure that you write about your participants, proposed research setting, to finish writing out that design portion. Now you will need to write your data analysis portion, which is the 3rd component in the research proposal template. So we have already covered how to do research research design for quantitative methods. And then next week, we will go over analysis for both qualitative and mixed methods. So that will be upcoming if you are doing those designs. Now, you'll also need to finish writing your introduction, including your summary of literature portion. And then of course, I will link the samples so you can see an example if that's helpful. And then, so that is going to be due April 17th. I think I pushed that back a little bit from what it says in the syllabus. And then you will also do a 3 to 5 minute video presentation talking through your research design. So you might have your introductory slide, and then a slide for each component of your research proposal, like with your research questions, your design and data collection, and your analysis method. So this is a short video. Voiceover is okay. Whatever mode you want to use to record that video is acceptable, like PowerPoint. Someone asked about Canva, that's okay, like Zoom, how I do. Any method that you want to do, Google Slide, for your video presentation. And that will be due a few days later, April 21st. So I suggest that you really focus your time on the paper and the proposal, then take a breather after you turn that in, and then create your slides talking through what you did for your paper and turn that in a couple of days later. So I'll continue talking about this as we get closer, but I did want to show you, this is the data analysis section that you should be thinking about next week when we get over that, or if you have done quantitative. So this is what it looks like in the research proposal template, and this is the third and final section of your research proposal. So we have the introduction, your research design, and then your data analysis. Oh, so in the data analysis, you will talk about if it's quantitative, the statistical methods, if it's qualitative, the coding methods, mixed methods. You'll talk about both the quantitative and qualitative data analysis methods, as well as your analysis. And this will make more sense after we go over this next week. And then you will talk about your proposed methods to ensure reliability and validity. And I did note the chapters there that you can look at to help you with that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your most recent perusal, perusal number 10 over qualitative design. So there was some great discussion in perusal, some great comments there. So I just want to quickly go over the multiple choice, and then I have an example for you. So narrative inquiry is, of course, focusing on people's lived and told stories. And in chapter 15, or I believe chapter 15, either 15 or 16, the authors talked about the different types of narrative inquiry and some of the different data analysis methods and approaches that researchers might use. Now, in comparison, case study reports, like in the actual research paper, are going to include more so summaries and implications of the results, since case study is focused on understanding a phenomenon through looking at a specific case. So the primary purpose of case study is to describe either one or more cases in depth. And I'll show you an example of that on the next slide. So this was a situational question about studying many cases. And so if you are studying more than one case, that is considered a collective case study. A collective case study is more than one case together at the same time. So phenomenological study is to understand the essence of an experience, either one or more people's experience, to understand what it's like to go through that experience. That's called phenomenology. And ethnography is, of course, coming out of anthropology, and it's focused on understanding cultural characteristics. And ethnography is primarily participant observation. Data is collected over a long period of time to try to understand the culture of a particular place or group of people. And so, like I just mentioned, data collection and ethnography is participant observation over an extended period of time. Now, grounded theory is unique in that it is intended in inductively hoping to generate a theory. Since qualitative research is exploratory, it's inductive, grounded theory is hoping to collect data and then through analyzing that data, generate a theory that is representative of whatever the topic of study is. Now, grounded theory is unique for qualitative methodology in how how specific and procedural the analysis method is. And so in the data analysis for grounded theory, you have the open, axial, and then the selective coding process that researchers go through as they are generating this theory. So I wanted to show you an example of a qualitative case study. So this is an example that we're probably all familiar with. I talked about this on Zoom. Thank you to everyone who attends Zoom. But this is Dr. Gloria Ladson Billings, and one of her qualitative case studies resulted in a theory that we are all very familiar with, culturally relevant pedagogy. So I'm just going to show you this video quickly so you can get a sense of what it is like from a researcher's point of view to carry out a qualitative case study and some of the possibilities.
I'm Gloria Ladson Billings, the Kellner Family Distinguished Chair in Urban Education at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. My passion has always been in discovering those teachers who are able to be successful, particularly in situations where people doubt that success can happen. So my specific work has been focused on those teachers who are successful teachers of African American students. I began studying in 1989 a group of 8 amazing teachers who, despite the odds, despite the resources, were able to produce some amazing, astounding results among African American students. I began calling this work culturally relevant pedagogy. And what I was able to distill from working with these teachers is that they have a laser-like focus on 3 things: student learning, or what we now think of as academic achievement, but not just test scores, but a full range of what young people learn. The second thing they focus on is what I would call cultural competence, not learning do's and don'ts about a specific culture, but fully embracing their own culture while acquiring fluency and facility in at least one other culture. And then the third thing that I saw among these teachers is what I sometimes call the so what factor. That is critical consciousness. We teach kids lots of things, but often students will say, why do I have to learn this? What is this important for? And this critical consciousness is designed to help students say, oh, well, now that I can read this, then I can read the newspaper article about this. Or now that I can compute this, I now understand why it is that we're spending this kind of money on these kinds of resources in our community. So those 3 things, academic achievement or student learning, cultural competence, and critical consciousness, really form the basis of this notion of culturally relevant pedagogy. It's exciting not only from the standpoint of the teachers I began studying in the late 80s, but that I'm seeing this replicated over and over in classrooms, not only throughout the nation, but around the world.
Okay, so as you can see, she had this qualitative case study with these 8 teachers, and she was able to, through her findings, come up with these themes that were reflective of what these teachers did. So, lastly, here is our checklist for this week. So this week you are going to read chapter 17 about mixed design. I know that there's been a lot of interest in this research design, so hopefully you find this interesting. And this will go with perusal 11. So just one chapter this week. So this is a great time to get started on your article critique or your research proposal or anything else that you need to do to kind of get ahead. And then we do have an upcoming Zoom discussion next week on April 6th. So hopefully this is helpful, and I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.